Motion by Kasserad, seconded by Bowring. Ms. Dawkins, please.
Okay, so at the January 22nd, 2013, yes, I said 2013, City Council meeting, the city entered into a professional engineering agreement with Bollinger Lock and Associates to provide design services for the Phase 2 portion of the East State Street reconstruction project. That work is nearing completion, and the project is proceeding to Phase 3 construction. Funding of this project includes various sources that require a joint funding agreement to be entered into via resolution by the City Council. The project is scheduled for the November 2024 IDOT bid letting, with construction anticipated in 2025 and 2026. And with us, we have Director Babica if you have any questions, but I would say if we want to see this happen, we just need to keep this moving, so thank you.
Questions from the dais for Director Babica? City Clerk, oh, forgive me, someone has a question? City Clerk,
No.
please take the roll. Maladra, excuse me, Alderperson Maladra and Patchke, any questions?
Not for me.
No.
With that, City Clerk, please take the roll.
Kasserad,
Aye.
Maladra,
Maladra, aye.
Marks,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
Paschke,
Paschke, aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Bowering,
Aye.
Bruno,
Aye.
Ruby,
Aye.
Kilberg.
Aye.
With 10 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 0 alderpersons absent, Resolution 2024-76 has been approved by this council. Item 10B, consider Resolution 2024-77, declaring protecting relays and public works vehicles as surplus property. Motion by Bowring, seconded by Marks. Ms. Dawkins.
Okay, so included in your packet this evening is a list of protective relays and vehicles that are no longer of useful value to the city. These protective relays were replaced in spring of 2024. The City Council previously approved the purchase of 2 new 1-ton pickup trucks and a new bucket truck, and all of the new vehicles have been received and are in service, and the replaced vehicles may now be declared surplus. Again, if you have any additional questions, we have Director Babica in the audience with us.
Questions for Director Babica from the dais? Questions by Alderperson Patchke or Maladra?
No.
City Clerk, please take the roll.
Bowering,
Aye.
Bruno,
Aye.
Ruby,
Aye.
Kilberg,
Aye.
Kasserad,
Aye.
Maladra,
Maladra, aye.
Marks,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
Paschke,
Paschke, aye.
Swanson,
Aye.
Resolution 2024-77 has been approved by this council with a vote of 10 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 0 alderpersons absent. We jump to item 11, folks, public comment. Anyone joining us this evening who wishes to address the council in any matter is welcome to do so. We invite you to the podium. This is your chance to speak, our chance to listen. Welcome. How are you?
Good evening. Fine, thanks. My name is Scott Drumheller. I am a resident of the city of Geneva. I'm also a member of the board of directors for the Geneva Chamber of Commerce. I'm here just to remind everyone that we have an upcoming Geneva Arts Fair. It's 2 weekends from now. I've got the details, of course, not committed to memory. Saturday, July 27th, Sunday, July 28th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. I understand there's 130 artists will be there from around the world. Children's activities, live music on 3rd Street. Music's from 12 to 2 if you're interested in that kind of thing. More details are available, of course, on the city's website and on the Chamber's website. We invite you all to attend. I hope to see you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyone else? From the dais, how about new business? Alderperson Bruno.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Public Works. They're doing some arduous and uncomfortable work with the weather we had, and great appreciation to them. Thanks.
Thank you. Alderperson Kilburn.
Yeah. There may have been an announcement. I'm just curious as to whether or not we're going to have Kramer make an additional pass through the city due to the wind damage. Has that been determined, or is that still to be determined?
Yeah, that's still to be determined. Right now, our first priority is getting the power back up. assessing the tree damage and getting some of the trees off the roadways, and then we'll make that determination.
Okay,
So
so-
we encourage everyone to check the city's website. That's where we keep posting all the updates. So,
So we anticipate that at some point in time, we'll make a decision on that and
yeah, I
after.
would assume in the next day or two.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Anyone else? How about a motion to adjourn the city council meeting? Motion by Kasserag. All in favor of the quick motion by Bradley, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned, folks. We'll take just a second to transition to the committee of the whole meeting.
All right. Committee of the Whole from Monday, July 15th, 2024 is called to order. My name is Alderperson Richard Marks. I chair this meeting. I'm with the Second Ward, also with Alderperson Kasserag. We will get this going, so hopefully we get out of here before the storms come tonight, which hopefully don't come. I call the meeting to order. Let it be known that all the alderpersons are present. 2 of them are by phone with excused absences, Alderperson Maladra and Alderperson Paschke. Okay, Alderperson Maladra and Paschke, are you still connected?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, just double checking that before we get going. Item number 2 is approved committee of the whole minutes from July 1st, 2024. Do I have a
So
motion?
moved.
Motion by Alderperson Bruno,
Second.
second by Alderperson Ruby. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, seeing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. First, items of business. Item 3A is consider the draft ordinance amending Title 7, Traffic and Motor Vehicles, Chapter 4, Traffic Schedules, Schedule 6, Stop, Yield, Right-of-Way Streets, Section A, Stop Streets, Section 1, Four-Way Stops of the Geneva City Code. Could you have made that any more difficult? City Administrator, if you've got something to say. Oh, I need a motion. Alderperson Barn, second by Alderperson Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, so there's an intergovernmental agreement with the City of St. Charles that identifies the jurisdiction of intersections on the east side of Geneva that border the City of St. Charles to be the responsibility of the City of Geneva. The St. Charles Police Department requested assistance in conducting a traffic study on the intersection of Division Street and East Side Drive due to several driving complaints they had received and traffic crashes that had occurred north of the intersection. WBK was hired to conduct this study and determined that an intersection should be controlled by a four-way stop. The primary reason being that accident history at the intersection is correctable by the installation of a stop sign for northbound and southbound East Side Drive. We do not have anybody from the police department with us this evening, but I can try to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions? Alderperson?
I had one question that's related to the traffic study. The study was conducted on Thursday, March 28th, 2024. And if you look at your calendar, there was no school in session. So that would have had a huge influence on both morning traffic and afternoon traffic. And it was also during spring break. So I'm just wondering if that gives us the level of data to really make this decision. Now, I'm not opposed to it, but I'm just saying it seems like it was the most inopportune time to try to take a traffic study is when you have no school in session that's impacted by Harrison and our high school, middle school, etc., as well as the fact that probably a lot of people were off work since a lot of people leave Geneva now during spring break for a spring vacation. Was there any questions in regard to the date that was selected by the company that we contracted?
I don't know as far as why that date was selected or not selected. I think I would only have pause for concern if the study came back and did not warrant stop sign installation there, but since it warrants a stop sign, I think only increased traffic would further support that case. So I think in that regard, I don't know that there's reason to be concerned.
The intersection, especially on the southwest corner of that intersection, it is in the parkway. There's there's brush, I believe, or growth there that does restrict one's vision when you pull up to that stop sign coming from the west on Division. It seems like there could be some efforts maybe made to cut that back somewhat to improve the sight lines, especially to the south as traffic's coming north on East Side Drive. I see that there were a number of accidents. I believe there was 23 that were reported during the last 5-year period, which is a number, quite a few accidents. And I guess my comment is that traffic control by both St. Charles and Geneva, especially I think in St. Charles, because the tendency of drivers are to pick up speed coming down the grade, approaching that intersection, and it doesn't give the drivers at both divisions from the east and the west much time to really react, especially if the car is moving in excess of the speed limit. So I don't think the problem is so much in Geneva. I think the problem as far as speed control is probably primarily a St. Charles issue.
Any other comments or questions? Go ahead.
And then when will St. Charles take action on this as well? Do we know what their decision has been?
So because the IGA identifies that it's the City of Geneva's responsibility, it only requires us to take the action. They just asked us to look into it. So we will be installing the stop signs if approved at the City Council meeting.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Alderperson Ruby.
Thank you. I'd like to say something non-controversial tonight. I agree with everything Administrator Dawkins said about the traffic study, the fact that it was lighter than usual and still showed a need, I think it is fine. But I also think that it's a great point that they conducted their study during spring break, and we should be aware of that on any future projects for holiday weekends where we know traffic is exceptionally light or heavy or people are gone. Just something to be aware of. Just pay attention to our school calendars in particular is a great point. And then also just a clarifying question. I assume, so the entire cost for this is on the City of Geneva as well?
That I don't know the exact answer for. I don't know if the IGA specifies that or not.
Okay.
But I think it's minimal cost.
Sure.
So.
Okay. Yeah, and then just one other, as an aside, I've had quite a few resident inquiries recently about speed control and the possibility of using stop signs, and there's some great information in the report in this packet that outlines exactly when and why and where stop signs are appropriate. So just wanted to share that with the residents, and I am happy to point you to the exact page if you're interested. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Alderpersons Paskey and Maladra, do you have any questions or comments?
Nope.
No? Voice vote is fine. We'll do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous? Okay. Item 3B is considered draft resolution authorizing the purchase of a 2024 Ford Hybrid Escape SUV in the budgeted amount of $37,287.24 through Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing, and declare the 2012 Ford Ecoline van as surplus property. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion by Alderperson Bruno, second by Alderperson Kasserag.
Okay, so the fiscal year 25 budget has funds allocated for the replacement of a 2012 Ford Ecoline van at the water treatment plant. The vehicle is recommended for replacement by the fleet maintenance supervisor due to years in service and repairs completed to the vehicle. The vehicle is used on a regular basis by staff at the water treatment plant, and the cooperative purchasing agreement with Sourcewell would be used for the purchase, and then we would declare the 2012 van as surplus and sold through iBid or a similar platform. With us this evening, we do have Superintendent Van Gescam with us if you have any additional questions.
Any questions or comments from the dais? Alderperson Paskey or Maladra, any questions or comments?
No.
Okay, hearing none, seeing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Say nay. It's unanimous. It passed. Item 3C is consider draft resolution waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the purchase of two fly-jet pumps from Exlem Water Solutions USA in the amount of $31,094, and I know I killed that name, so. Motion by
Second.
Alderperson Bowing and second by Alderperson Cassara.
Okay, so the fiscal year 25 budget has funds allocated for the replacement of two pumps at the water treatment plant sanitary lift station. The current pumps are 17 years old with over 28,000 hours of operation. The lift station is a Xylem brand Flight.
No, okay.
Pump station. All electronics and interior components are specific to the pump manufacturer, and staff has obtained one quote from the sole source manufacturer, Xylem Water Solutions, for the purchase of these two pumps in the amount of $31,094. Again, we have Superintendent Van Gescam with us to either tell us how to pronounce it correctly,
Yes.
or
If he could.
answer any additional questions you might have.
Any comments or questions? Alderperson Cassara, Kilberg, sorry.
I had one of Rich.
Go.
He's got it.
Go ahead. You're up.
Yeah, I know. I have a question of Rich.
Oh, of Rich. Or did you want?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why I was confused.
Either.
Okay.
Well, this is we have one quote, and it's really not a competitive bid, because we're tied in with this type of pump because of the fittings and the way it would fit back into our system.
Yeah, the controls, the fittings, the rails, all of that goes with that pump. So if we were to competitive bid it, it would have to, we'd have to spend more money really for additional equipment to go into the lift station. So it's pretty typical that when you build a lift station, you're kind of married to that pump. So it's when you go out to bid for that station, you're kind of at their mercy. So
how do we? We're really pretty much at the mercy of the supplier then in those instances, aren't we? I mean, what's our leverage?
as far as the price goes, they stay very competitive with all of the other pumps on the market. It's to their benefit to be competitive. That way they can, collect more business. So it's just a matter of experience with the manufacturers and continue working with them.
How do you compare a cost when do we request additional bids? Apparently, it would appear that in this instance we don't.
Correct. We did not.
How do we benchmark to make sure that that number is competitive and a fair price? We understand that we're going to probably pay somewhat of a little bit more of a premium, but wouldn't it be beneficial to request at least competitive bids for a comparable pump?
What we do is our comparison is when we look at the other stations in town that have different style, different manufactured pumps. We do look at the prices that we have to pay for those pumps and compare them to what we're getting. And I have to say I've got faith in what their prices come back at, and if it was something out of line, then we would obviously question it. So
This company, we purchased from them 17 years ago. Have they been acquired or have gone through any ownership changes over that period of time, or we're dealing with a lot of the same people from when we had initially made that purchase?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, that's all I have. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Alderperson Paskey or Maladra, any questions or comments?
No, sir.
Okay. Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 3D, consider draft resolution authorizing execution of a letter of agreement and customer work agreement with ComEd for engineering work related to the new 34 kV feed to Geneva Business Park 3 substation. Do I have a motion by Alderperson Bowling, second by Alderperson Mayor?
Okay, so design services for the 34 kV feed to the new Geneva Business Park 3 substation requires 10% of the estimated construction cost to be paid to ComEd as an advance deposit for engineering to perform the detailed engineering necessary to modify their system. This detailed engineering is necessary for Geneva to move forward with construction and energizing of the new substation. The deposit will be credited towards the final construction cost as determined by the detailed engineering design. And again, with us this evening, we have Director Babica, who will answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions? Alderperson Kilburg.
This substation, this is the one behind our Geneva generation facility, right? Off Averill?
That is correct.
Right. I know that with the expansion at the General Mills facility, that there were some changes that needed to be made to that substation as well. That's correct?
That is correct, but it's not associated with this work. That was independent of this project.
Okay. And there was compensation from General Mills as it relates to those changes, I believe. Is that correct?
A portion of that work was private and remains private. A portion of that work is public and was paid out of public funds. The exact financing I'd have to look into off the top of my head. I just simply can't remember how that project was financed.
Okay. In other words, those improvements were not financed solely by the city then, is that correct? Would that be a safe assumption?
For General Mills?
Right.
That is correct.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Alderpersons Paschke and Maladra, any comments or questions?
No.
Okay. Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Is there anyone out in the audience that wishes to make any public comment? Hearing none, seeing none. Any additional new business from the dais?
Would it be possible for staff to give us an update on the communications as it relates to the dam and what's transpiring as it relates to an environmental assessment?
I'd be happy to do so, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like.
Go ahead, please.
Alderperson Kilburg emailed me late last week and again today regarding a communication that was allegedly sent to my attention from the Illinois Department of Natural Resources.
Point of clarification, I said the city or staff's attention.
Again, I was asked whether or not I had received a communication from the Illinois Department of Natural Resources and/or Army Corps of Engineers regarding a new assessment and update from those agencies. I responded to Alderperson Kilburg that I had not. I did a search of my email accounts and discovered no such correspondence. However, in an email you will receive this evening, you will note that we did secure a copy of that correspondence. It was never sent to me, but we do have it, and it'll be sent to all of you this evening. It is literally an update from the IDNR, a gentleman named Ryan Johnson, a biologist located in the Chicago District Office, updating the process moving forward. All the dams in the Fox River corridor except for Algonquin's Dam. Algonquin's Dam, of course, has been already approved to be removed and is being removed, if not entirely removed. The information is, in my humble opinion, somewhat complicated as I read through it once. I trust you'll probably find it the same. There are some modifications to the process that the IDNR will take place. It does not change one iota what the City of Geneva must do with respect to hosting its public hearings, gauging the citizens' interests on whether to preserve, whether to remove, or whether to amend the dam as it currently exists. As all of you probably know, and I'm certain most of the community knows, the likelihood of any construction being commenced is likely 2027. Our decision to whether preserve remove or amend the dam is due in April of 2025. That deadline has not changed at all. So you'll have that shortly after this council meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'll also add that the letter will be posted on the city's website
Yes,
page
forgive
for
me
the
for-
dam updates.
Good point.
Alderperson Kilbarg, you still have the floor. No?
That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other new business? I believe Rich Babica asked that, we have the cities of Princeton and Rantoul, did I get those right? Are helping our electric department get our power back up, and we'd like to give them a great shout out for all their help that they've done. They've had to travel up here and then have brought their equipment and are starting to work with our crews to give our crews a little bit of a rest and try to get whatever power is still out up and going as soon as possible. So thank them. We thank them publicly, but Mr. Babica, if you would please also, let them know our gratefulness for coming up to help us when we needed it, because we do know that there still is some parts of the city without power right now, and every little bit of help, having our crews out there in this heat and weather is greatly, greatly appreciated. And we are currently under a tornado watch. That's always fun. All right. Any other new business from the dais? Hearing none, seeing none. Next item on the agenda is adjournment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Alderperson Bruno. All in favor say aye. Meeting is adjourned.